Playing with Power MTG. Powerful cards, powerful formats. Before we get into tonight's game, I wanted to ask a question. Do you have extra cards lying around that you don't use? Want to buy or trade for some extra cards but don't know how to maximize the value? Then you should try out today's sponsor, Card Conduit. Card Conduit is the best service when it comes to selling your extra cards. They have three main services. Their standard service lets you send them your unsorted cards of any value. They will sort, grade, and give you the best price for your cards. Their curated service is similar. Send them your unsorted cards worth over $1 in value. They will charge half the fee of the standard service and charge no fee per card. Their sorted service is a great value as well. Choose cards in advance with their selection tool, send them sorted to Card Conduit, and they will grade and buy list them automatically. Save yourself the time of having to send to multiple sites and let Card Conduit do it instead. Their fee is only 2% with no fee per card. So give Card Conduit a try today. If you sign up with my link in the description below or use the promo code POWER, you will also get 10% off of their fees when you use their service. A big thanks to Card Conduit for sponsoring today's video.
I am Zach, or Disco Breaker. I am on the play, playing Grixis Delver. I am on a mulligan to 5. Alright, and you're good to go.
Alright, this is Matt Sperling with Playing with Power. I'm back with my Black-Green Dark Depths deck, featured in another recent video. I've made a couple updates to the deck, which will be in the deck list linked. I've kept my opening 7 here on the draw.
I am going to open with a Polluted Delta, and then I will pass the turn.
Okay, I'll draw for my turn. I'll cast Once Upon a Time for free since it's my first spell. Look at my top 5. Really Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. Play a Stajiri Step and say go.
It will untap, keep, draw for turn. I'm going to go ahead and crack this for a Volcanic Island, going to 19. Brainstorm. Play a land for turn is a Flooded Strand. I will crack Flooded Strand, go to 18. Grab an Underground Sea, cast a Delver of Secrets, which I'll swap out for this guy. And then I will pass the turn.
Draw. I'll play Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. I'll pass the turn.
Untap. Keep Trigger Delver. Look at the top card, and I will not reveal. I'll go to combat. Swing for 1.
I go to 19.
Dragon's Rage Channeling. I will play a Mysterian Forest as my land for turn, and I will pass the turn.
Draw for my turn. I'll play Urborg. I'm going to exile a Grief to evoke a Grief.
I think I'm going to respond, and I will cast an Orcish Bowmaster. ETB trigger, I will ping you for 1. Create an Orc army with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then your Grief will resolve. I have a Murktide Regent, which will hit the bin.
As does my Grief. I'm going to cast a Witherbloom command. My modes are going to be Delver gets -3, -1, and I mill 3, put a land from my graveyard into my hand. Mill 3, Bojuka Bog, Not of This World, Pithing Needle. So Bojuka Bog goes into my hand.
My Delver dies.
Yep, and I'm done.
Alright, I will untap, keep, draw for turn. I will just go to combat, and I will swing for 3, and I will pass the turn.
Draw. I'll play the Thespian Stage and pass the turn. I have effects in upkeep if you don't mind. I'm going to tap Stajiri Step for green thanks to Yavimaya. Crop Rotation, sacrificing said Stajiri Step. Dark Depths, still in your upkeep. Tap Dark Depths for green, Urborg for black. Thespian Stage will become a copy of Dark Depths.
Yeah, that works.
The Legend rule will happen first. I will keep the Thespian Stage, sacrifice the Dark Depths. The trigger from Thespian Stage, having no counters, will go on the stack. I will sacrifice it. I will put a Merit Lage into play.
I will draw for turn. That is not what we needed to see. I believe I'm just dead. I will pass the turn.
I'll draw for turn. Bojuka Bog you to make Delirium a little harder. Exiling Graveyard. And I will swing for 20 with my Merit Lage.
I will declare no blocks and take 20. You got it.
All right.
I will open with a Scalding Tarn and passing the turn.
Draw. Bayou for me, and I'll pass the turn.
Draw the turn. Play a Volcanic Island and a Dragon's Rage Channeler and pass the turn.
I'll draw for my turn. Play Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and pass the turn.
Draw for turn. I will go to combat. Swing in for 1, play a land, and pass the turn.
All right, I will draw for my turn. I'll play a Dark Depths. I'll put 10 counters on it. Pithing Needle.
I think I have to respond to the needle. Like, I have to brainstorm in response and trigger Dragon Rage Channeler. Surveil 1. I'm going to put an Orcish Bowmaster in the bin and then resolve Brainstorm. And then I'm going to fetch, going to 19. Underground Sea. And then I'm going to fetch one more time, grabbing a Volcanic Island. And then I will be good to resolve the Pithing Needle.
Okay, I'll name Wasteland, and then I'll pass the turn.
In my upkeep, I'm going to Lightning Bolt you, trigger Dragon's Rage Channeling. Surveil 1, bin a Mishra's Bauble, and then Bolt.
Take 3, I go to 16.
Draw for turn, play a land. I'll just go to combats. I have Delirium, so I must swing for 3.
I got 13.
Second main, Delver of Secrets, and I will pass the turn, 3 cards in hand.
Draw. I'll play a Forest and pay full retail for a Grief.
I'll respond, and I will cast a Force of Will, exiling a Spell Pierce, and a life, trigger Dragon's Rage Channeler. I will bin the Dragon's Rage Channeler, and then Force.
Yeah, Force counters Grief, and I'll pass the turn.
Upkeep, Delver trigger, I will look. I will choose not to reveal, but before going to my draw step, I will crack Scalding Target, going to 16. I will grab an Underground Sea, and then draw for turn. I'll go to combat and swing for 4, and then I will pass the turn.
Draw. I will play Bojuka Bog as my land for turn, exile your graveyard, and I'll say go.
I will untap, upkeep, Delver trigger. I will fail. Play a Wasteland as my land for turn. Go to combat. 2.
After declare attackers before blocks, I will crop rotation. I'll sacrifice Bojuka Bog as an additional cost. Crop rotation will go ahead and find a Thespian Stage. I'll tap Urborg and Dark Depths for black. Make a copy of Dark Depths with Thespian Stage.
I'll respond to the activation. I will Petty Theft the Pithing Needle. There's a Darcy trigger before it resolves. I'll bin the Dragon's Rage Channeler. This will go on an adventure. And then I will Wasteland the Dark Depths.
Okay, Dark Depths goes away. The Thespian Stage activation fizzles. 2 damage comes in, I go to 7.
And then I will pass the turn to you.
Upkeep, draw. Replay my Pithing Needle. I'll name Wasteland. I'll play Dark Depths. Tap it for a black, Urborg for a black. I'll make a copy of Dark Depths with Thespian Stage.
You got it.
It's going to Legend rule the old Dark Depths, and then the new one will trigger, sacrificing, making a Merit Lage. Cast another Pithing Needle.
This one I will hard cast a Daze, trigger Dragon Rage Channeling. We'll surveil a Wasteland into the bin, and then Daze.
Yeah, Daze is going to counter that Pithing Needle, and I'm done.
Upkeep, Delver trigger, will not reveal. I will play a land for turn. I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw and attack for 20 flying.
Before blocks, I will pay 3, and I will flash in a Brazen Borrower.
Okay.
And then I will attempt to block with a Brazen Borrower.
Yep, you got it. I will play a Thespian Stage and pass the turn.
Upkeep, Delver trigger. That is not an instant or sorcery. Draw it for turn. Mishra's Bauble, but that will trigger the Dragon Age Channeler. I will bin a Delver of Secrets. I will attack with Delver of Secrets. Go to my second main phase. I will crack Mishra's Bauble, targeting myself. I will fetch Underground Sea, and I will pass to you, and then in your upkeep, I'll have a Bauble trigger.
So I'm going to copy Forest with Thespian Stage, so Thespian Stage the Forest with the Thespian ability, and then I'll untap and upkeep.
Yep. Draw from Bauble.
I'll swing for 20.
I will block with the Dragon's Rage Channeler.
I will play a Dark Depths and pass the turn.
Upkeep, Delver Secrets. I will miss again. This Delver just does not want to flip. Look at a combat. Swing 1. We're going to cast Tide. Exile these 5, so it won't get any counters. It will just be a 3/3 flyer. And I think that is it. I have 1 card in hand.
Draw. That was a good draw. I will play Sagiri Step, trigger, I'll give Merit Lage protection from blue.
Yep.
I'll attack for 20.
Yep. I only have a wasteland. You got it.
Let's head to sideboarding. I am taking out 2 Not of This World. Since this isn't a Swords to Plowshares matchup, it's not of critical importance. So I'm shaving a couple of those. Elvish Spirit Guide, not trying to go. It is good against Daze, but I'm not trying to go as fast. It's not about lightning speed in this matchup. It's more about having the right mix of cards. And then the Beside You that I have, it just doesn't have really amazing targets in this match. You can get a wasteland off the board, but I'm going to choose to not go with that one. A couple Abrupt Decays that can change the clock that I'm under in the early game, or potentially get some things out of the sideboard that off the board. Veil of Summer and Sorcerer's Spyglass have an extra tool against Wasteland.
I'm bringing in a Surgical Extraction to try and hit some targets that I wasteland. Wonder Orb, if the games go long, kind of taxes your mana as you're not on the full turbo. And then 2 bounce spells to hit the Merit Lodge if it ever comes into play. I will be taking out 3 Orcish Bowmasters. There's not many targets, and it doesn't block in the air. It doesn't really do what I needed to do in this matchup. And I'm cutting a Lightning Bolt. I'm not really in a position to try and race with that. It's kind of the worst spell in this matchup, I feel. I will open on a Scalding Tarn. I will crack it, go to 19, grab a Volcanic Island, and I will be casting a Ponder. And I will put them back in this order and draw like that and pass the turn.
Draw for my turn. I'll cast a Once Upon a Time. This is my first spell of the game.
I will attempt to daze it.
Yep. I will play Urborg. I will Thought Seize You.
Yep. You will see the Volcanic I just picked up, the Misty, a Brainstorm, and a Murktide Regent.
I go to 18 from the Loss of Life for Thoughtseize, and I'll be taking your Brainstorm. I'll pass the turn.
Alright, untap, keep, and draw. I'll play a Volcanic Island, tap it for red, and cast a Dragon Surge Channeling. And I will pass the turn.
Alright, untap, keep drawing. I'll play Thespian Stage. Untap Urborg. I'll Thoughtseize You again.
Yep, the Murktide and the Misty.
Okay, I'll take the Murktide. I'll reanimate your Murktide Regent.
Yep.
I take 8. I go to 8. So I've managed to deal 12 to myself so far, and I'll pass the turn.
I'll draw for turn. I'll play a Mistress Bobble, trigger Dragon Rage Streamline. I think I will keep that there. I'll play a Misty Rainforest as my land for turn. I will pass through combat into my second main, where I will crack the Mistress Bobble targeting you.
Okay, I'm going to show the camera, but look away.
Yep.
You got it?
You're good. Yep.
Okay, put it back.
And then I will pass the turn to your upkeep, where I will draw a card.
Okay. I'll draw. I'll play Dark Depths. I'll tap Dark Depths and Urborg for 2 black. I'll make a copy of Dark Depths with Thespian Stage.
Yeah.
Remove all the counter. Oh, sorry. Legend rule. We'll remove this. Then this one will trigger. Since I sacrificed it to its ability, I get a Merit Lage. Yeah, I'll come in for 3 in the air. I'll pass the turn.
Keep and draw. Yeah, that is what we were hoping to fade by a turn, as I draw the Wasteland.
Yeah.
I'll tap for blue. I'll cast the Delver of Secrets. I'll go to combat. This has to get snacked on.
I'll go ahead and block, yeah.
And then I will pass to my death.
Untap. Draw. Swing in for 23.
Yeah, I will take 23.